And I believe that 95% of the affirmations or intentions or mantras you say should be accurate. They should be accurate, right? We are strong. We are all strong. We should tell ourselves that we're strong as opposed to that we're weak or that we can't do it, because we can do it, right? Let's find accuracy in that. The one that I told myself that I didn't believe, and it took me a while to believe, is I love myself. And that's the only affirmation I suggest saying if it's not true, because love is the point. Love is what connects us all. Love is why we're all here. We're all light, beings of love. And so like, that's the one that can change the most and turn the corner the most. But I'll give you a personal example of trying to find accuracy in your affirmations. Many people use the gym for therapy. It's a good thing for your mental health, right? But also go to hide from feelings, or to feel a certain way, or to build up an armor so that they could be perceived as powerful or strong or whatever, because most likely they don't feel powerful or strong inside.
Exactly.
And I know that's what happened with me when I first started my powerlifting journey, was that I wanted to, I didn't respect myself. And so because of that, I wanted to project respect. And, hey, how do you do that? You get really big and strong, So, that's at least what I knew at that time, and then as I evolved my consciousness and raised my level of awareness and started to love myself, I realized that, I can look at the gym and working out and things like that from a different way and from a different perspective. And so now I still challenge myself physically, but I do so from a place of trying to understand myself and understand my boundaries, and to get growth as opposed to do it for external validation.
Before we start in today's interview, I just have a few words for a interruption-free podcast. And this brings me already to the first point. Leave a like here, and when you listen to the podcast episode on Spotify, etc., it would mean the world to me when you can rate the podcast with 5 stars. This helps me a lot, and because this podcast thrives through your recommendations, because I don't monetize my YouTube channel or the podcast in general, I don't run any ads, and that's because it's so important that you don't forget, when you look the YouTube video, like the video, share the video with your friends, follow me for more conscious content, and let's just spread these messages. And I always create these podcast episodes with my full heart, and give a lot of energy in there. And the next point is, I created a free PDF, From Darkness to Light, Empowering Steps to Overcome Addiction and Depression with a Holistic Approach. All right, so this is a free PDF. You just have to contact me over Instagram, email, or whatever. Doesn't matter which platform it is, or just put a comment down in the YouTube video, and with your contact, that I for sure that I also can reach out to you, and I'll send it to you. All right. So, and the next thing is my coaching program. All right. Probably you know already that the best investment is in yourself. Seriously, it's in yourself. Doesn't matter if you buy Bitcoin, or just if you buy crypto, if you trade, or if you buy real estate, land, gold, whatever you make. For that investments, you need also these different skills, and also the most of the successful people, so much people says that also the best investment is in yourself, no matter what. And because of that, I decided to create my own one-on-one coaching program, because I realized also with my experiences with myself that this is the best way to go, because then the other person, your coach, can focus fully on you, on your challenges. So you have the opportunity to book your free first coaching meetup call with me personally for free, and then we see if you are a good fit for my coaching program or not, and then it's also completely fine. And this is no selling call. You come out with some realizations, learnings, or more clarity, whatever, and then we see where the divine leads us and what we go through in my coaching program, or what kind of benefits exactly you have. This you can check on my website. The link is also in the description, and there you can read everything. There are a lot of information. I don't want to go deeper into this here in this video, but just that I said it, so you not have nothing to lose. And now enjoy the episode, and then see ya in the next one. Welcome to my podcast, a place for open minds, the education that sets you free, and where we dive deeper into consciousness, holistic health, and everything that has to do with becoming a better version of ourselves. Here we really just go with the flow and the divine. So let's just start right into it. And I'm really, really excited because today I have a guest here on the show who works with stories, and we just started right now in the pre-interview already a bit. So, and first I want to start in with the question, who are you? Because I think also personally this is a really deep question when we don't answer this on a surface level, you know?
Mm-hmm. What a great start, man. I'm really happy to be here, Felix. I'm excited to be here with you. So I visited Austin, Texas last week, and I live in Richmond, Virginia in the US, and I attended a men's dinner, a men's circle dinner, and the opening question was very similar. It was, how do you define yourself? We had about 5 minutes to write. And so if it's okay with you, I'll answer that question with what I wrote, which is relatively short because this was very intentional, and I think sums it up pretty well.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Let's do it. All right.
Let's do it.
And I got it right here. I'm ready, man. I'm ready. All right. My name is Daverobinson. I am a conduit of love. I am the breaker of generational curses and the creator of generational love. I'm an athlete, entrepreneur, and adventurer. I'm a fiance, brother, son, and future world-class father. I'm a lover of nature, and I feel my creator most when atop a mountain or with my hands in the dirt. I'm a leader, a guide, a mentor on the hero's journeys of my friends, family, and clients. I'm a wordsmith. I break bad spells and cast good ones. I'm intentional with my life, my actions, and my circle. And I'm honored to be here with you on this earth, sharing space with you.
Wow. That's beautiful, and same time so powerful, and wow. Damn.
My biggest reflection from this was that if that had been asked to me 5 years ago, 10 years ago, it would have been totally and completely different. So we all change, we all evolve, we all grow.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially with intention and with great work. And so it was cool for me to reflect on and see the evolution in that time frame, which was neat.
So yeah, there are now some loops that goes open here with me, but it just first starts with the question, you help people to redefine their stories, right? And maybe you can take us a bit deeper into that rabbit hole, how did it all started, and yeah, what what is so powerful on stories?
Yes. So I'll get into what it is that I do and then loop it back around to how I started, because this is
Yeah.
exactly the process that I went through. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're listening, you may know this. There are unconscious and subconscious narratives that are driving our lives and how we perceive our lives. And many of us don't even know that those narratives or stories exist.
Yeah.
And so, what I do as a guide or a mentor is I help my clients enter their innermost caves where they keep their hurt stories and their haunted stories and their shameful stories, where they keep their regret, where they criticize themselves, where they talk down to themselves, where they hold their deepest dreams and wishes and fears and desires. And we go into those caves together and we slay the dragon, or we slay the demon, or we, tame the dark wolf. And when we come out of those caves together,
Mm-hmm.
we bring up to the surface the treasure, the gold, the elixirs, the lessons that we can now
Mm-hmm.
hold and take with us, and ultimately share with share with the people, share with those around us, those with whom we love, and those with whom we'd like to impact the world on.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, my big goal is to help people. You might have heard the phrase break generational curses. And many of these stories aren't even our own stories. They come from our parents or grandparents or ancestors. And what I want to do is help people to break those curses. But more importantly, because I like focusing on what we actually want, we want to create
Yeah.
generational love instead. And so this started for me back in 2015, 16. I was in a long-term relationship,
Mm-hmm.
4 or 5 years at that point. I was working as a financial planner. I was living downtown in the city. I had a little dog. Everything was great from the outside looking in, but from the inside
Yeah.
looking out, I was miserable. My relationship was
Mm-hmm.
uh, immature and toxic. I was swimming in debt.
Yeah.
I was unhealthy, and I had created lots of unhealthy habits around myself and around how I was spending my time. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't treating my body with love. And I noticed that the words I was using, the story I was telling myself was, I hate myself and I hate my
Mm-hmm.
life.
Mm-hmm.
I hate
Mm-hmm.
myself and I hate my life. And I realized over the course of time that those words were creating a physiological I mean, dude, even as I just say those now, you heard that
Yeah.
little that like shallow like chest breath, like because I felt some pressure right in the middle of my sternum, like they were creating
Yeah.
dis-ease, and not
Mm-hmm.
quite disease. If it had kept going, it would be disease, but they were creating dis-ease inside of me. So I was feeling the effects of my negative speech patterns physically in a very
Mm-hmm.
stressed and what we call a sympathetic nervous state. And so I
Mm-hmm.
was uh, going into fight, flight, or freeze every time I told myself those words. And so I found a mentor online. It was an author, and
Yeah.
I never have interacted with him, or I've interacted with him once since, and that was like a couple months ago. But like
Yeah.
6 or 7 years ago, I read his books,
Yeah.
and his name's Kamal Ravikant, and he wrote a book called "Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It." And I was like, huh, hate and love are opposites. What if I start saying I love myself instead?
Yeah.
And it seemed very simple and it seemed very easy, though at first it was almost impossible for me to say, right? I cried the first 10 times I tried to say it because I didn't love myself, right? But I
Mm.
practiced it. I practiced it. I practiced it. I practiced it. I love myself. 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 And
Mm-hmm.
within a couple weeks, things started to shift for me. I started to make decisions based on, oh, well, if I love myself, I would do this. Or if I love myself, I definitely wouldn't do that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Or because I love
Yeah.
myself, the world started to love me back. I started to see things a little bit differently. And it was the start of my love affair with words and stories and personal development.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you, yeah,
if first, it's so powerful. It's just so powerful. Stories we tell ourselves, and we can decide what we tell ourselves, right? And just what comes out from our mouth, what we spell, because yeah, it's not unnecessary that, in these magic movies they say the spells, spells. It's so powerful.
The definition of a spell is a word or collection of words of great influence. A word or collection of words of great influence. And spelling is the
Yeah,
formation of words. We all took, at least in the States, we took spelling
yeah,
in grammar school and in primary school. And it's like, hey, how
yeah,
do you spell David? David, right? So like
yeah, yeah,
spelling is how you create words. And so when we
yeah,
speak, we are casting magic spells. With
yeah,
my word, I create. With my word, I influence. And most of us have no idea that that's the case. And many
yeah,
times those spells are casting spells of dark magic or negativity as opposed to light magic and
yeah,
positivity.
yeah, yeah. So it's, yeah, as I said, it's always stories we tell ourselves, and we can definitely say that we can use that in all life areas, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter if it's now our physical health, or whatever, our financial health. So mm, how do you help people when they come to you? How looks the process, from clients that comes to you? Where do you start? So, and how do we work exactly with them? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yep. A great question. Great question. So, you might have heard the tale of two wolves. And if you're looking at the video version of this, I've got a great description or depiction of this behind me, right? But the
Yeah.
tale of two wolves, it's an old Native American tale, and it's
Mm-hmm.
or a legend, and it goes something like, there's a battle that's been waged inside every single one of us since the
Yeah.
beginning of time, and it will always
Mm-hmm.
be fought. And this battle is between the light wolf and the dark wolf. And the dark wolf manifests itself as pain and fear and envy and jealousy and hatred and evil and sadness and depression and anxiety and all those traits. And the light wolf manifests itself as love and joy and peace and kindness and altruism and happiness and satisfaction and et cetera, et cetera. And somebody asks, which wolf wins? And the medicine man says, the one you feed, the one you feed. And so what I find is that many of my clients, most of my clients, 90% of my clients, when they come to me and they first start working with me, they've been feeding that dark wolf over and over and over and over and over again. And that dark
Mm-hmm.
wolf is really big and really scary and very untamed. And he barks really loud, in the middle of the night, right before they
Yeah.
go to bed, or,
Yeah.
after they mess up, or even after they win, he gets really loud and says a lot of mean stuff that we probably would never say to anybody
Mm-hmm.
else, but we
Mm-hmm.
say it to ourselves. Right. And this is everybody's
Mm-hmm.
experience. I'll raise my hand on this. I noticed myself. I noticed
Yeah.
my dark wolf on Sunday. He was
Yeah.
barking really loud. I was like, what are you doing, man? You got to get out of here. So it
Yeah.
happens, right? But what I do is I help my clients name their dark wolf in the very first session. And so now it separates that inner critic or that inner shit
Mm-hmm.
talker from themselves. It's not them, it's their
Yeah.
dark wolf. And then we name their light wolf.
Yeah.
And after we write out what the dark wolf says, we translate it, not from English to German or German to Spanish or anything like that, but we change the words. So if that dark wolf says, my dark wolf tells me, you know, uh, my life is terrible and I hate my life. Then the light wolf tells me my life is amazing and I love my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so ultimately what we do is we start to distinguish between the negative self-talk and then affirmations or intentions or mantras or statements that we can say that come directly from those prior limiting beliefs, which make them way more powerful than if you got them off of Google. And so we start to feed the light wolf. And that only comes with practice as well. I've got a puppy, an 8-week-old puppy that my fiance and I picked up on Saturday. Today's Tuesday. So 3 days ago.
Yeah.
3 days ago, we picked up a Dutch Shepherd, which may be a little bit more popular over there in Europe than they are here. They're relatively
I'm not
uncommon
sure.
here.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's similar to a Belgian Malinois or a German Shepherd.
Yeah.
It's sort of similar.
Yeah.
So I've got treats all the time, like constantly. Like I just took a shower, I just put on pants without any pockets, but normally I would have like treats in my pockets, and I'm just feeding the dog and giving him treats and rewarding the good behavior. And that's what we need to do with our light wolf, especially in the beginning, is we need to feed it a lot of treats, get it nice and strong, and weaken the dark wolf. So that's typically where I start with almost every single one of my clients. And then we go into identity, we go into limiting beliefs. And many of my clients have those shameful or regretful or hurtful or traumatic or haunting experiences from their past that carry a lot of weight and prevent them from experiencing the joy and prevent them from seeing the good. And so that's where we spend the majority of our time, is diving into those hurtful stories or haunted stories and downshifting into that parasympathetic state, which is rest and relax, so that our bodies can heal, or we can heal ourselves or heal our cells. Self and cells sound very similar. So heal our cells in that parasympathetic rest and relax state.
Yeah. There comes so much things up, so I write some things down here. So but step by step. So first I want to dive a bit deeper into something you said now indirectly. You don't say it out loud, but it is just my interpretation. Because I work also with mind, body, and soul, and dive deeper and deeper into that holistic approach. And I hear it now also out that you also focus a bit on your body. Is this right? So
what I try to do is I get my clients out of their head and into their body. So my background is in fitness.
Yeah.
And I've been a fitness trainer. I've been a university Division I strength and conditioning coach. I've been a personal trainer. I owned a warehouse gym. I did group workout. I did a lot of stuff in the fitness world. And then I did a lot of stuff in the health world, which was, sunlight and healthy food and good water and grounding and breath work and all these other aspects of physical health. But what I notice and realize is that the stories we tell ourselves are the through line between all of that, and wellness was the thing that I wanted to spend the rest of my life focusing on, which is how we view ourselves and feel about ourselves and our life experience at any given moment. And that can change just like that with different words. And so what I do is I get people out of their heads where they have racing thoughts, right? And get them into their body so that they can see the effect that their words are having in their body, but also so that they know what to do if they are anxious, or if they do find themselves in a negative feedback loop or a shame spiral or something like that. We breathe, and we don't breathe like a Wim Hof breath or something like that. We breathe just like we did before we started this show, which pulled us both down into that state.
Exactly.
And so out of our heads into our bodies. So that's really the health focus or body focus that I have with my clients, but it's almost always in a relation to the words that we're using or the stories we're telling.
Yeah. So you said also earlier, you mentioned affirmations, and I remember I just love it because it's so funny when you start in this whole personal development scene, right? When I personally started 4 years ago approximately, I remember yeah, you need to make a vision board, you know, with these pictures on it, what you want to achieve, your goals, and so, and nothing bad on that. I mean, I have a new vision board I made, I think half year ago or something like that, on my laptop as background, that I always see it and visualize it and so, and remember, oh yeah, I make it for that and so. But anyway, this was also going much more internally. In the beginning, I had it externally, but that's also another topic now. I don't want to dive too deep into that. but but there was also in the beginning this affirmations. You just need to tell yourself, I am rich, I am wealthy, I am healthy, I am this. So, you know, and I'm a millionaire or something like that. But it don't work. It don't work so easy like that. Maybe you can take us into that a bit deeper also, because I think you have also really much experiences now with that. Because yeah, it's also what I realized, when it's too surface level and you just tell yourself, oh, I'm a millionaire, but then your system says, hey, what the fuck? You are not the millionaire, you are not that and that, and what should happen now only because you tell yourself something else? You know, what should happen in your external world only because you tell yourself something? You know what I mean?
For sure.
Oh.
And there's two different sides to the coin. There's the stories and then the action. You know, so if I lay on my couch and I sleep for 24 hours a day, you know, like my reality, my dreams aren't going to come true. Like, yeah, should I rest? Of course. And like telling yourself that and then following it up with action is what matters. You know, and I believe that 95% of the affirmations or intentions or mantras you say should be accurate. They should be accurate, right? We are strong. We are all strong. We should tell ourselves that we're strong as opposed to that we're weak or that we can't do it, because we can do it, right? Let's find accuracy in that. You know, the one that I told myself that I didn't believe, and it took me a while to believe, is I love myself. And that's the only affirmation I suggest saying if it's not true, because that's love is the point. Love is what connects us all. Love is why we're all here. We're all light, you know, beings of love. And so like that's the one that can change the most and turn the corner the most. But I'll give you a personal example of trying to find accuracy in your affirmations. So in March of 2019, I had a very bad back injury. So bad that I couldn't pick up the pen if it fell on the floor for weeks and weeks and weeks. Right. And so yeah, it was my first major injury. I had broken my collarbone. I had broken a wrist. I've had concussions. I'd have, you know, ankle stuff go on, but this was the first one that affected my activities of daily living significantly. Right. You know, I didn't really know what to do, and I didn't really have any help to go through that. And that's my fault. I should have asked for help, but I tried to, you know, do it myself. And so I experienced a setback a couple months later. I came back too soon. Experienced a setback. And so I find myself on the gym floor, not even able to do a single push-up, you know, barely able to, you know, touch my knees, let alone my toes, you know, and I remember thinking my back is effed. My back is effed. My back is effed up.
No, damn.
My back is so messed up, you know, and I would sit down and it would tweak and I'd go, oh, my back is messed up, you know, and I just, you know, anything I did, it would hurt. And I would say, oh, my back is so effed up. And I thought, well, okay, like the hate myself, love myself thing worked. Like, let's see if let me start telling myself that my back is healed, and then it'll heal. It'll be like magic. Right. So I started saying, my back is healed. My back is healed. My back is healed. My back is healed. But I knew that it was BS. I knew that it was crap. I knew that wasn't true. And it made me even madder. Right. I would say that and I would be like, oh, I know my back isn't healed. This is like just so much worse. Right. And so I tried it for like 2 weeks. I was like so worked up because I knew it was BS. My heart knew that it was BS, and my gut and intuition and my body were responding like it was just total crap. Right. So I was like, okay, well, let me change the words. Let me just switch some things around. Like, what if I took off the ed on healed and I changed it to ing? So I took it from past tense to active. My back is healing. Huh. Okay. Like that feels a little bit better.
Yeah,
That
right.
feels a little bit better. Okay,
It
well,
feels
I'm in the process of healing my back. Yeah, I could say that and have that feel good. I'm in the process of healing my back. My back is in the process of healing. Okay, what else feels
yeah.
good? Uh, one day my back will be fully healed. Accurate. One day my back will be fully healed. It's not going to be today or tomorrow, but one day it will be. You know, I was like, all right, one day I'll return to normal physical activity again. All right. You know, so I was
Yeah.
able to find accuracy in those words, and it was able, you know, and because I was in the process of healing my back and because my back was healing, I was much more likely to go and do my rehab exercises. And because one day I'll be healed, I was much more likely to accept the fact that my body needed to rest and to heal right now. And,
Yeah.
you know, but there were things I could do to help move the process along. And so that action followed up the words that were coming out of my mouth and the thoughts that I was having. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I'm a millionaire. That's not true. Dave is not a millionaire.
Uh,
One day I
yeah.
could be a millionaire. Accurate. Uh, I might be a millionaire one day. Accurate. Right? Who knows? Yeah, totally. It's within the realm of possibility, right? You know, and
Yeah.
so then if I repeat those and I believe in those and I start to act in that way or in the process of, and then I start to turn my ship towards focusing on that monetary, you know, reward, then yeah,
Yeah.
that could happen one day. But for me to sit here and say, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, like that doesn't get us anywhere. So
Yeah.
I believe the affirmations, the best affirmations, come from a prior limiting belief, or a prior thought that held us back, or a prior negative story. I hate myself to I love myself. My back is messed up to my back is in the process of healing. You know, oh man, my life sucks to I have a beautiful life and I'm blessed to be alive. Right? Like just turning the frame and picture a little bit.
But what I think is also sometimes really difficult with when you are how I say it now, when there are people who has depression or something like that, or struggle much with addiction, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, just really think they hate their life. And what I realize now also, because back then I was also deeper into that, and I was going this process step by step, uh, because sometimes it can be really, really difficult, you know, to just say then, yeah, I'm so blessed. I have a wonderful life. So I have my dream life, or just no, maybe not my dream life, but you know, just to find, like we talked also in the beginning, in the pre-interview, in the when we spoke before, training this gratitude, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it also has to do so much with that, just training this gratitude in everything you do in your whole day, in this day when you are awake, and just every time when you eat, for example, just saying it. Oh, I'm so grateful. I'm so blessed that I just have that now, that I just have that fruits to make me a smoothie, that I have this meat, that that the cow was volunteering here on earth, that it can spend us, you know, the meat, the nutrition we need. It doesn't matter what you eat now, but you know what I want to say. So had had this also a important role in your life?
I could be better at gratitude. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely could be better at gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
I have gotten back into prayer.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be very, very religious, and
Mm-hmm.
that left around late high school, early college, or university days. And
Mm-hmm.
over the past year or so, I've gotten back into saying nightly prayers, and it's
Mm-hmm.
I thank my Creator and the divine and God for me being here, me being able to make an
Mm-hmm.
impact. And I ask
Mm-hmm.
for love and protection for myself and my family, and I ask to be able to love others as He loves us. And
Yeah.
I am um, when I'm connected to my food source, I found myself much more grateful. So, for example, my fiance and I raise rabbits for
Mm-hmm.
meat and for fertilizer, and so
Mm-hmm.
we have some livestock, and we do homesteading and
Yeah.
permaculture practices
That I
on
wanted to go also
land.
in. I
Totally.
wrote this question down some. Yeah.
Um, so that process from seeing a little baby rabbit that fits in the palm of your hand, that
Yeah.
Peter and Oreo or Peter and carrots had, and mated, and now we've got this little rabbit, and now we
Yeah.
can, watch it grow up and feed it
Yeah.
and pet it
Yeah.
and hold it, and then, have it sacrifice itself for our nutrition and for our life. Like, that had me an incredibly grateful, um, and incredibly introspective and very,
Yeah.
very, very connected. So I think we are, by and large, very disconnected from our food, and anything that we can say or do or act on to bring us closer to that, be it prayer or be it homesteading or be it just simple gratitude at any given moment, I think is a massive
Mm-hmm.
benefit to our state and our
Mm-hmm.
well-being.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this has also really much to do with the light wolf and the dark wolf, you say, right?
Yes.
So that we really feed as much as possible the light wolf. So and I think it's also completely fine, to acknowledge to have the dark wolf. So I just speak now from my perspective, how I experienced now life in the last years, or especially also now in the last months. Um, and I had also today a really interesting conversation with a friend of mine. I just was walking with the dog. We have also a dog, my girlfriend, me, and then I was walking with the dog with him, and we spoke also. We have also always a bit deeper conversations. So, and then we spoke also about the yin yang, because I said, you know, the world is sick, but we can heal it, and so. But then he said, "Nah, the world's not sick. It's healthy," and so,
Mm.
and or it's sick and healthy, and um, yeah, maybe he understood me not exactly how I mean it, but maybe also, but it doesn't matter now. But anyway, what I want to say with that is that the yin yang, the light wolf and the dark wolf is always existing. There's no dark without light, as above, so below, and as within, so without. So the light and the dark wolf is within us, but also in this whole world. So and uh,
There's good and there's evil in the world.
uh
There's day and night. And so yeah, I completely agree.
and I think, but I think also it's more important than ever that we feed our light wolf, because I just see it right now. I'm not sure how your perspective is, uh, but what is going on in the world right now, there are so much things happening, and I see also a lot of darkness, not because I have a lot of darkness in myself. Sure, I have also darkness in myself, and I go right now through a immense healing journey, I guess. But yeah, it's extremely important that we feed the light wolf and just bring our light out in the world. So
I was a history major in university, and I think I too can get caught up very often in seeing the news and the headlines and the negativity in the world and the wars and the hatred and the this, that, and the other, and yet in my hometown here in Richmond, like, everybody's good. There's no protests in the street. Nobody's, like, yeah, in some places there's some crime and there's some, bad things happening to, people, but I'm not, in my family, in our circle, we're not affected by that. So I think if the news went away and we couldn't see out there, everything would be much better. Our where we are is very nice, and I imagine where you are is very nice, and there's where most people listening, it's very nice right now. Even if it's not nice, it's better than it was in the world 100 years ago, in between World War I and World War II. It's better in the world than at 200, 300 years ago, 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago too. There are gnarly times. This is the greatest of human times. There is less crime, there's less violence, there's less hatred, there's more order, there's more societal structure, there's more of all those things that at any point in history. We have more food, we have more comfort, we have more ability to positively affect ourselves and our life than at any point in human history at all whatsoever. And so, I think it's very easy, and I get caught up in that. I get caught up in the headlines. I get caught up in the wars. I get caught up in the hatred and the what if this and what if that, but if I'm looking at it objectively without the news, life is amazing. If I'm looking at it objectively through the lens of history, life is amazing. And I think those perspectives or those narratives or those stories can affect us in a lot of different ways. But when we return back to center, when we return back to self, things can look a lot brighter than they do when we look to others.
Beautiful. So now I forgot what I want to say, so I just just listened now. It just was drifting away a bit. So but yeah, I can say it again and again. It's just so important to always, doesn't matter how dark looks the times, always remember on the light warrior in yourself, the light wolf, right? And I started also earlier about talking about the healing journey and manifestation. So I think with your work, correct me when it's not, but I think with your work, it's also related to how I say it now, right? To achieving goals, right? But also in the same time to heal in a certain way, right?
Yes.
So and then it comes also back again to tell yourself the right stories. But there's also always a lot of changes happening in the time right now. I just try to sort my thoughts right now because there's a lot up there. Because right now I just go through an immense healing journey, and I realize again and again how painful it can be, and that there are stories we used to tell ourselves that are past now, and sometimes it hits you so much in the face that you just think, damn, what the fuck, you know? Just for example, the example with me right now, with the fitness journey. I really I love fitness. I guess I love fitness still now, but there was, I think, day before yesterday, or yesterday, especially yesterday, I felt me completely different. I made it with a completely other attitude because I just was looking into myself. So in this healing journey, I had to more than ever just looking into myself, because I'm going also so much more into manifestation. And as I looked at myself, I I really realized that always when I was going in the past in the gym, I made it for sure, yeah, for the mental health, and I still make it and I still enjoy it. But not anymore to avoid a certain feeling. And especially yesterday when I was in the gym, when you raise your consciousness, you feel also much more about your surroundings. This goes a bit deeper into spirituality and stuff, but you really feel much more, and there is a price for everything, right? And as when you raise your consciousness, you also feel more from the uncomfortable. You not only feel more from the positive, but you also feel more from the uncomfortable. And I talk not so long because I have to explain it that you understand what I want to say with that. So I was there in the gym, and I realized that I told myself for years now a story what I thought that's good for me, but in the end, to find out that it is not like that, it can be really, really fucking painful. You know what I mean? So
yeah, are you open to sharing the story that you told yourself that you found out wasn't true?
yeah, for sure. So I always tell myself, when I go in the gym, I feel better. And that's a good thing. But principally, it can be also a good thing when you make it with the right intention. And now I realized that I made it the whole time, or not the whole time, but most of the times with the wrong intention. I just was going there to avoid a certain feeling, to don't confrontate myself with my inner child, with my wounded inner child, that it's not fucking worth enough, that search the whole time for any validation. Doesn't matter if it's likes, follows, or whatever, or just going in the gym, getting a better body, getting my dream body, etc., etc. Just going there to don't confront myself with uncomfortable feelings, to understand myself better, and don't go through that pain. And then I had also especially the last 1.5 week or so, I was sick and I had to go into myself. And now when I was yesterday and day before yesterday, in the gym, I felt I don't have so much energy because all that going into myself and going into that pain, it cost me so much energy. And now I'm just here and, you know, go with a completely other attitude now in the gym, because I know I don't need to go to feel me good about myself. You know what I mean? I know it was now a bit longer explanation, but
I can identify with a lot of that and understand, I think, where you're coming from, and that, many people use the gym for therapy, and
yeah,
that's a good thing for your mental health, right? But also go to hide from feelings, or to feel a certain way, or to, um, build up an armor so that
yeah,
they could be perceived as powerful or strong or whatever, because most likely they don't feel powerful or strong inside. And I know
exactly.
that that's what happened with me when I first
Yeah,
started my powerlifting journey, was that I wanted to, I didn't respect myself. And
yeah,
so because of that, I wanted to project respect. And, hey, how do you do that? You get really big and strong, and so
yeah,
that's at least what I knew at that time, and then as I evolved my consciousness and raised my level of awareness and started to love myself, I realized that, I can look at the gym and working out and, things like that from a different way and from a different perspective. And so,
yeah,
um, now I still challenge myself physically, but I do so from a place of trying to understand myself and understand my boundaries, and to, you know, um, get growth, as opposed to do it for external validation. And
yeah,
it's also important to know that, sometimes we go in the gym and we have downs and dips, and, just because last week we, did 100 kilos, and
yeah,
this week we could only do 70 kilos, it doesn't mean that we lost 30 kilos worth of strength. It just means that there's probably a dip in our hormones, or in our
yeah,
energy, or in, the ability for us to express ourselves in that manner right now. It doesn't mean that
yeah,
it's gone forever and that all the progress is wasted, and et cetera, et cetera.
yeah,
If we allow ourselves to heal and recover, then maybe next time we come in and we do 102 kilos, and we get our, above our old record again. And so that was
yeah.
another concept that it took me a long time to understand, that there's this, what we call progressive overload, or rest and relax, and then
Mm-hmm.
stress and adapt. And, that
Mm-hmm.
pendulum needs to swing. And if it's always in, pushing, 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 grinding, grinding,
Yeah,
grinding, 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 then
yeah.
it's not going to allow us to come back and actually rest and recover. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot to that. That's, the last part of that is the science behind it. And then the first part of that answer was kind of the methodology, or the stories behind it. But, ultimately, when we go inside of ourselves, we understand a lot more about ourselves, and then that can
Yeah.
shift our perspective and how we view and value the external things that we're doing. And that's okay, even though it can be painful.
Yeah. 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 Even when you thought that's good for you, the story you tell yourself, actually, that's the thing. That's the thing that you make your whole life,
Yep.
and that, sure, I probably make fitness my whole life, but you know, when you just realize, damn, you made it with the same intention like you take drugs, for example. Because when you take drugs, you tell also yourself, yeah, okay, we have to also define drugs in quotes, but when you take drugs, for example, every day to just avoid a feeling you don't want to feel, you tell also yourself a story. So,
Mm-hmm.
do you go then with your clients into different stories, or how do you make that exactly? For example, now when or in other words, you analyze what their biggest challenges are right now, and then you go deeper into that stories, or how do you make that?
Yeah, so I work past, present, future most of the
Yeah,
time. And I
yeah.
ask my clients, hey, where are you stuck? Where do you think that you're stuck? And some people
Okay.
know exactly why they're stuck.
What do you make now, for example, when it's financially?
Financial stuff. Okay, so there's often a current day reality of the
Mm-hmm.
financial stuckness. We define it,
Mm-hmm.
and typically that's going to bring up stress. Money brings up stress for a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
Totally, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And yeah, high five. Yeah. So there are ways that we can get out of our head and into our body when it comes to our current financial situation. But oftentimes, our relationship to money
Yeah.
is inherited. There's stories that come from our parents' relationship to money or their parents' relationship to money. Some people had abundance when they were growing up. Many people had a lot of scarcity. I mean, I
Yeah.
remember, the majority of the fights that
Yeah,
my parents had
scarcity.
were about scarcity. The checkbook didn't get balanced, or there was something that one of the kids needed and it had to wait because the we don't get paid until next Friday, and so there was a lot of scarcity when it comes to money. And then we get to, as adults, relearn, unlearn, and then relearn those patterns and stories to find situations that serve us now,
Yeah.
and sometimes we're stuck in indecision, right? Sometimes there's a decision we need to make or could make that would benefit us financially, or
Mm-hmm.
prevent us from spending money or help us to earn more money, but we're stuck in how we make that decision, or we don't know whether to stay or whether to go, or
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of different things that the financial stories can be worked on. Maybe there was loss in the past. Maybe I worked a bankruptcy story with a client of mine recently,
Mm-hmm.
and he went bankrupt because his business failed,
Yeah.
and this was a couple years ago. And now
Yeah.
he's scared to open a new business and to take that risk again as an
Yeah.
entrepreneur. And so he's
Yeah.
feeling like he should do more, but he's just like
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
the pain from that previous experience still. And so,
Yeah.
what we do in that situation is we go back to that previous experience
Yeah.
and we write it down, when I went bankrupt, and we write down the whole story.
Yeah.
And then we start to work that story by reading it out loud, by slowing down the pace that we read
Mm-hmm.
that story, by
Mm-hmm.
breathing in between each sentence, so
Mm-hmm.
that now we're calm and relaxed. And now what happens is it goes from being in our heads, running around in circles, spinning really, really fast, racing thoughts,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
now it's on the computer screen and we can see it, and we've got distance, but we can observe it. So now we're observing the story as opposed to being in the story. We can
Yeah.
see it differently, and we can even go in there and edit the words. Before it was, the bankruptcy was the worst thing that ever happened to me, yada, 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 et cetera, et cetera. This is what it made me feel, et cetera, right? And then we
Yeah.
start to poke around a little bit and ask some questions. And I go, hey, man, like, how's the relationship with your wife now over the past couple of years? And he's like, oh, man, it's grown tremendously. It's like, okay, like, what about the relationship with your kids? It's like, yeah, well, before I was so busy with the business that I couldn't go to any of their sports games. Now I haven't missed a sports game since. And I was like, oh, great. He's like, and hey, I saw you guys were out camping last weekend. You went on a long hike, you went camping, you went to the woods, and when was the last time you did that? And he goes, oh man, it had been years. I had worked every weekend. I couldn't, so it's like, okay, now we're changing the perspective on the story.
Yeah.
And yes, was it painful? Of course. Does he wish it didn't happen? Of course. Was it the best thing that ever happened to him? Maybe not. But were there benefits? Hell
Yeah.
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 Hell yeah, there were benefits. You know, he got to
Yeah.
spend more time with his family. He got to spend more time doing the things he loved to do. He found more
Hmm.
stability. He got a regular job. And now every
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks he gets a paycheck. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he's not creating. Yeah, he's not, you know, providing for 35 employees, and so he doesn't have that boost of the ego and the impact.
Yeah.
There's, like we could chalk it up as a failure,
Yeah.
right? But ultimately the lessons were learned, the experience was great, and today
Yeah.
he's in a much different, better place mentally, physically, and otherwise, and he's
Yeah.
recovering financially. And so
Yeah.
we
Right.
de-stressed, we separated ourselves from the story, we saw a different perspective, and now we're
Mm-hmm.
able to, with this client, now he's able to tell himself a different story
Mm-hmm.
about the past experience and his present day view of that, even though we didn't go back in time and change things, obviously.
Yeah. Yes.
What happened, but we're telling ourselves a different story that feels way better and is also accurate.
Yeah. So that's the thing. So when we just look now financially, or we can take also, for example, now, example from me. Um, I look now that I go even deeper and deeper into myself, and then also try somehow to find out what exactly happened
Mm-hmm.
in my past that I'm now in that financial situation I'm in. Right? So, but you would say, nah, cut it. We don't have to go into the past. We just need to find a way that I tell myself um the story differently, because yeah,
We may
you
want
know,
to go back into the past. We
yeah,
may
yeah,
decide to go back into the past because in the past it might help us to understand things differently, and it might help us to um, relieve some of the pressure and the pain from that particular story. We can't change the past.
yeah.
We can't change the past, but
But
what
we
we
can
can do is change the experience.
the
Yeah,
yeah, and the here and the now. So but
exactly.
sometimes people don't know exactly, doesn't matter if it's now financial situation or if it's a addiction they have now. So sometimes, you don't know exactly why you are in that situation.
Mhm.
um so probably it's also asking yourself the right questions, right? So,
For sure.
and yeah, maybe also taking help, coaches, mentors, psychologists,
Yeah,
whatever.
asking for help,
Uh,
totally. Yeah.
uh, totally. And, just give yourself time, patience, right? So you can't change your life from today on to, sure, you can change it from today on tomorrow, but not in that big steps, maybe small steps, right? So,
Yes.
and just having patience with yourself, going into yourself, and eventually something will come up from the past, from your subconscious, from your unconscious mind. Maybe something will come up, a story you tell yourself, or a experience you made, what maybe um is connected to that situation you are in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can make links. You can make links between the things that you've experienced
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
how they affect you today and what actually happens today.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Nice. So, a other question what I ask always, everyone, is, what do you think needs the world right now the most?
Mm. I like saying better me, better everyone. And I like telling that for clients. I like my clients to have that experience as well. Better me, better everyone. Because when we ourselves can
Yeah.
heal ourselves and heal ourselves, it allows all of us to, it allows those ripples to keep going and keep
Yeah.
spreading outward. You know,
Yeah.
so my definition of impact is the ripples we create and send out into our world. And
Ah.
so when we create a positive ripple and a positive experience, it goes boom, 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 boom. It just carries outward. And so
Yeah.
better me, better everyone means that now we're throwing big boulders into the ocean and
Yeah.
getting those ripples out as opposed to little pebbles.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I also want to say, throw a stone in the lake and it gives this ripples. I
Exactly.
love that analogy. So, and also, what do you think is the best investment?
Bitcoin 15 years ago.
Yeah,
um, Best investment is investment into your health, whether that's physical, mental, or emotional or spiritual. And, you know, our health is our wealth. And without health, you could be the richest person in the world, but, you know, you would trade it all for another day
yeah,
on this earth. And so I think that for people, for someone maybe like you, and certainly for someone like me, you know, I spend a lot of my financial resources and a lot of my time resources, aka my life,
yeah,
focused on the betterment of my health.
yeah,
And that could be in the form of physical, mental, emotional. That could be in the form of coaches or, you know, certifications or knowledge. That could be in the
yeah,
form of quality food or, you know, making decisions that, you know, to not engage in certain practices or make decisions to not do what society says I should do, you know, in order to better myself. And so that comes oftentimes with sacrifices of opportunity or opening up different opportunities or spending money, you know,
yeah,
spending coin and perhaps finding myself in not as good of a financial situation as some of my peers, yet
yeah,
I'm happier and I'm healthier and I'm more connected to myself and I'm making more impact. And not that it's a comparison, but you know, let's celebrate that win versus what the bank account says or what kind of car we're driving. And so
yeah,
you know, I think the best investment into anybody can make is into themselves and into their own health.
yeah. Powerful, powerful. And now the last question. Do you have any, when you read, do you have any book recommendations or movies? What you say, oh damn, yeah, yeah, these people definitely have
People
to
need to see it. Yeah.
see or to read.
I mentioned it earlier and I'll mention it again. It's love yourself like your life depends on it. Love yourself like your life depends on it by Kamal
Ah,
Ravikant. It's Kamal Ravikant, Ravikant. And that book changed my life back in 2015, 2016. It's just short book. It's a short read. If you listen to it on Audible, I think it's like exactly an hour long,
yeah.
and it's amazing the perspective shift it
Mm-hmm.
gave me. And so I love
Mm-hmm.
sharing that book with others.
And you don't have a own book?
Not yet. Not
Not
yet. Not
yet. Maybe it comes out.
Yet. It's up in here right now. It's
It's
up in
up.
here. It's
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
brain. Yeah.
exactly, exactly with me too. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, then I just, yeah, I can say it was a pleasure that you was here. So I appreciate your time. It's was a beautiful, powerful conversation. I hope the listeners could uh, gain gain also some learnings, realizations, and yeah, when you have some last words, the stage is yours.
Thank you,
And
my friend. I I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you and to
yeah,
share a little bit of my journey and thank you for sharing your story as well. Um, you know, for those listening, if y'all want to learn a little bit more about what storywork is, I'd love you to
yeah,
check out workyourstories.com. workyourstories.com is my website. And then if you want to follow along for the workouts and the rabbits and the the stories and all the new puppy and all that good stuff, I am on Instagram at daverobinson.coach. Again, that's daverobinson.coach. So thank you for having me.
Thanks that you was here. And I totally forgot to ask that, but we just put every link down in the description that the listeners can find you. And with that said, it was a pleasure that you was here, and love you all, guys. Love goes out, and see you in the next one.
See you soon.